Let me say it straight. The moment your alarm goes off and you hit snooze, you've already lost. That's not a delay, it's a decision. A choice to stay weak, a choice to stay average, a choice to stay exactly where you are while pretending you're just resting a few more minutes. You think winners hit snooze. You think champions, killers, people chasing greatness roll over like babies and say, 5 more minutes. No, they get up instantly because life doesn't care if you're tired. Opportunity doesn't knock twice just because you were lazy the first time. The snooze button is comfort, and comfort is the enemy of progress. Every time you hit it, you're teaching your brain to disobey your own goals. You're telling yourself, my dreams can wait. You're surrendering your potential for temporary softness. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You need to look at the alarm, feel the resistance, and stand up anyway. That's how beasts are made. That's how legends are born. Not in comfort, not in warm beds, but in the daily choice to dominate your own weakness. Ask yourself, what do you want more? That little extra sleep, or the life you've been dreaming about? Because guess what? That life you want, it's on the other side of the bed. It's waiting at 5 a.m. while you're still drooling on the pillow like a failure. You want to change your life. Start by refusing to hit snooze. That's your first battle every single morning. And if you can't win that, don't talk about becoming successful. Don't talk about goals. Don't even say the word grind. Winners rise, losers roll over. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm hits, don't be soft. Don't be weak. Be a savage. Get up, attack, and never look back. The snooze button is a micro decision of weakness. It's not just a tap on your phone. It's a full-blown psychological choice that reflects your mindset, your discipline, and ultimately, your future. You might think it's harmless, right? Just 10 more minutes. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to hear those 10 minutes. They stack up, day after day, week after week. They become a pattern, and that pattern becomes your life. Hitting snooze isn't just about sleep. It's about who you are when nobody's watching. It's about how serious you really are about the life you say you want. And most people are lying to themselves. They say they want success, but their actions are screaming weakness. You see, when the alarm goes off, that moment is pure. It's unfiltered. There are no distractions. Just you versus you, your higher self, the one that wants to win, to grind, to build an empire, is saying, get up. But your weaker self, the part of you that loves comfort, pleasure, softness, laziness, it's whispering, stay, rest, you deserve it. And when you hit snooze, you choose to listen to that weak voice. That's not just laziness, that's betrayal. Betrayal of your own potential. What most people don't realize is that the snooze button is symbolic. It represents your entire attitude toward life. Do you do what needs to be done, or do you delay and excuse your way through it? Because life isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do despite how you feel. Discipline isn't built when you feel good. It's forged when everything in you wants to quit, but you still move forward. Every single time you override your alarm and hit snooze, you reinforce a mindset of postponement. You tell yourself, I'll do it later, but later becomes never. And your goals fade into a distant fantasy while you keep repeating the same mistake every morning. Think about what kind of person chooses 5 or 10 more minutes of sleep over chasing their dream, over building wealth, over getting stronger mentally and physically. It's not about the sleep, it's about the mindset. The kind of person who gets up immediately when the alarm rings is the kind of person who gets things done in life. The kind of person who shows up even when it's hard. The kind of person who commands respect from themselves and from the world. Because every day they win that first battle, that micro decision, they don't flinch, they rise. Success isn't about big moves once in a while. It's about tiny, consistent, powerful decisions made every single day. And the first one is always the same. Do I hit snooze and surrender to weakness? Or do I stand up and show the world I'm in control? The moment you understand that the snooze button is an enemy, not a convenience, your life will change. Your mornings will stop being a struggle and start becoming your weapon. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you're losing the first 5 minutes of your day, don't expect to win the next 23 hours. So the next time your alarm rings, remember this, it's not just an alarm, it's a test, and only the weak fail it. Success doesn't wait for people who delay. It doesn't slow down because you're tired. It doesn't pause because you're unsure. And it certainly doesn't give second chances just because you weren't ready the first time. The world doesn't owe you time. Opportunity comes like a bullet, fast, sharp, and gone before you blink. So when you delay, when you hesitate, when you say, "I'll start tomorrow," what you're really doing is handing over your future to someone else. Someone more focused. Someone more hungry. Someone who didn't wait. Look around you. The people winning in life aren't always the smartest, the strongest, or even the most talented. But they move fast. They act. They don't sit and overthink every little thing. They see a door crack open and they run through it while others are still deciding which shoes to wear. The truth is, every moment you delay is a moment someone else is using to get ahead of you. You're sleeping, they're grinding. You're hesitating, they're executing. You're planning, they're already halfway through the war. And when you finally wake up and decide to act, you'll realize you're late. The chance you had is already gone, given to the one who moved first. Delaying isn't just procrastination. It's self-sabotage in disguise. You think you're waiting for the right time, but the right time never comes. You think you'll start when you feel motivated, but motivation is a lie. It fades. What lasts is action. Ruthless, relentless, immediate action. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you're training yourself to accept mediocrity. You're building a habit of inaction. And that habit becomes your lifestyle. Before you know it, years have passed, dreams untouched, goals unchased. Regret quietly taking root. People delay because they're scared. Scared of failure. Scared of discomfort. Scared of stepping into the unknown. But guess what? That fear is supposed to be there. That's the test. You either lean into it and grow, or you back off and shrink. But success only belongs to the ones who move through fear. Not around it. Not under it. Straight through. The battlefield of life isn't for the timid. It's for the bold. The ones who don't wait to feel ready. The ones who decide they're ready because there's no other choice. When you train your mind to act instantly, to say yes to the grind without hesitation, everything changes. You build momentum. You build belief. You stop letting doubt dictate your destiny. But it starts with killing the delay. Getting up when it's hard. Showing up when it's uncomfortable. Making decisions with speed and certainty, even when your emotions scream for comfort. You want success? Then understand this hesitation is a disease, and speed is the cure. So stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending that tomorrow will be easier. It won't. The only difference between winners and losers is how fast they move. The winners act while others think. They show up while others sleep. They sacrifice while others complain. They know life doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't wait. And time moves forward, with or without you. Discipline starts the moment your alarm rings. Not 5 minutes later. Not after you scroll through your phone. Not after you convince yourself that it's okay to rest a bit more. No. It begins right then, in that exact second when your brain is screaming for comfort and your body wants to stay in bed. That's the first test of the day. And most people fail it without even realizing it. They think it's small. They think hitting snooze isn't a big deal. But that moment is everything. Because how you handle that first decision sets the tone for the next 24 hours. You either start your day in control, or you start your day giving in to weakness. There's no middle ground. People love to talk about discipline like it's something you build in the gym or during some motivational hype. But it doesn't start with lifting weights or working 12-hour days. It starts with the alarm clock. It starts with making yourself do the uncomfortable thing before your emotions have a chance to negotiate. Because the truth is, your feelings don't care about your future. Your comfort zone isn't interested in your goals. And if you allow those soft, weak thoughts to dictate your actions, then you'll never break through. You'll live in loops, constantly resetting, constantly frustrated, wondering why nothing ever changes. It's because you can't even conquer the first battle of the day. The alarm rings and your subconscious watches your response. Do you rise or do you retreat? That one decision teaches your mind either discipline or delay. And if every day begins with delay, your entire life will follow that same pattern. Discipline isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you switch on when you feel motivated. It's a commitment. A lifestyle. It means doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel, especially when you don't feel like it. That's when it counts. That's when it builds character. Nobody is coming to save you. No one is going to make you successful. It's on you. And it starts with your ability to govern your actions from the moment your day begins. People love to chase hacks and shortcuts, but the truth is brutal and simple. The real hack is discipline. And discipline is forged when it's cold, when it's dark, when you're exhausted, when your mind says no. And you act anyway. That alarm in the morning, it's not just a noise. It's a declaration. It's life asking, how bad do you want it? And your actions are your answer. Not your words, not your intentions. Just that simple action. Do you get up or do you give in? If you can't win that moment, how do you expect to win anything else? You think success starts with a big opportunity or a lucky break. No, it starts in your bedroom in silence when the alarm hits and there's no applause, no audience, just you versus you. That's where champions are made. In that private, quiet decision to rise when it's hard. So the next time your alarm rings, remember discipline doesn't start when the sun's up, when you're ready, when life's convenient. It starts the second your excuses do. And it's your job to shut them down, get up, and move forward. Because no one's going to do it for you. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It creeps in slowly, dressed as self-care, disguised as rest. But what it's really doing is keeping you weak. You weren't built for comfort. You were built to push, to climb, to fight. Every great life ever lived was carved through discomfort, through the struggle, through the discipline to keep going when everything inside said, stop. But comfort tells you that everything's fine when it isn't. Comfort tells you to take it easy, that you deserve a break, that there's always tomorrow. But tomorrow doesn't exist for those who constantly delay. Tomorrow becomes just another excuse, and excuses never built anything worth remembering. People don't realize that the world is hard by default. You either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And regret is heavier, it lingers. It eats away at your soul because deep down, you know you could have done more. You could have been more. But you chose softness over strength. You chose comfort over character. That bed that feels so good in the morning, it becomes your cage. That warmth, that softness, it seduces you into staying still while the rest of the world is out building something. The real ones, the winners, they use discomfort as fuel. They wake up tired and still train. They face rejection and still push forward. They fail and still show up the next day, ready to swing again. Comfort is the reward of warriors, not the lifestyle of the lazy. You earn it after the battle, not before. Most people have it backwards. They chase ease first, then wonder why life feels hard. They want the result without the grind. They want the praise without the pain. That's not how it works. You don't deserve anything you haven't fought for. And if you're constantly choosing what's easy, then you're actively choosing a life that will never be great. You're choosing to be average. And average is overcrowded. Mediocrity is packed with people who chose comfort every morning and then blame the world when they didn't make it. Look around, greatness is rare. Why? Because discomfort is rare. Most people won't choose the hard path. Most people won't get up early, won't train when they're sore, won't keep pushing after they failed. They want life to hand it to them. But life doesn't give. Life responds. It rewards the few who demand more from themselves than the world ever could. And those people, they don't flinch when it hurts. They don't back down when they're tired. They don't seek comfort. They dominate it. They use it as a temporary reward, not a daily escape. When you understand that discomfort is the only way forward, your mindset shifts. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop wishing it were easier. Instead, you build the strength to become better. You rise earlier. You train harder. You push further because you realize that every second spent being comfortable is a second lost to someone outworking you. So when the pillow feels too good, when the bed feels too warm, when your mind starts whispering lies about just 5 more minutes, that's the moment you strike. That's the moment you choose power. Because in a world full of people seeking ease, the one who embraces the fire is the one who becomes unstoppable. Success doesn't respond to intentions, emotions, or excuses. It answers only to execution. It's not waiting for you to feel ready. It doesn't care how tired you are, how rough your past has been, or how many times you've failed. Success is mechanical, cold, unemotional. It's like gravity. It responds to action, not desire. You either do what needs to be done or you don't. That's the brutal reality. Too many people get stuck in the illusion that planning, thinking, and feeling are enough. They confuse movement with progress. They trick themselves into believing that preparing is the same as performing. But success doesn't care about your preparation. It only cares about what you produce. Everyday life gives you 2 choices. Sit in your thoughts or take action. One keeps you in the same place, looping in circles, always dreaming, never doing. The other moves the needle. Real action, the kind that matters, is raw. It doesn't feel good. It's not comfortable. It usually comes when you least feel like it, when you're exhausted, uninspired, or uncertain. That's where success begins. Not when the stars align, but when you choose to execute regardless of your emotional state. That's when you start separating yourself from the masses. That's when you build something real. People waste years thinking, planning. I'll start when I have time. I'm just figuring things out. I'm almost ready. Almost ready is a lie you tell yourself to feel better about standing still. But the world doesn't reward almost. It doesn't hand trophies to people who nearly tried. It respects results, output, action. You want to build something massive. Then you need to act like time is running out. Because it is. Every day you delay, someone else is gaining ground. Someone else is executing the plan you're still thinking about. And guess what? They're going to win. Not because they're better, smarter, or more talented, but because they moved. They took imperfect action while you were still waiting for perfection. Success respects those who do, not those who say, not those who intend, but those who execute. The gym doesn't care how motivated you are. The market doesn't care how passionate you feel. The game doesn't care how many times you've visualized winning. It only responds to who shows up and puts in the work. The ones who make the call, write the code, shoot the content, train the body, build the discipline. You want results, you want power, then move. Do execute. Because no matter how loud your dreams are, nothing will happen until you act. It's easy to be inspired. Anyone can watch a video, feel a spark, and make promises to themselves in the moment. But the flame dies quickly for most. Because when it's time to do, they fold. They talk about discipline, but live in hesitation. They talk about hunger, but stay in bed. Success doesn't come from what you feel in a moment of hype. It comes from what you consistently do in moments of silence, when no one's watching, when nothing feels exciting, and you still execute like your life depends on it. Because it does. So stop glorifying the idea of success and start respecting the grind. Start acting like execution is your only currency, because it is. Every second you spend thinking instead of doing, dreaming instead of building, is a second lost forever. You don't need more motivation. You need movement. You need to get up, shut out the noise, and start. Whether you're ready or not, whether it's perfect or messy, whether it's fun or painful, do it anyway. Execution eats excuses for breakfast. And until you understand that, you'll always be left behind, watching others win while you wonder why you're stuck. Most people have no idea how much life they're wasting. They wake up every morning and live on autopilot, following the same patterns, scrolling the same apps, consuming the same content, doing the same unproductive routines. And then they complain that nothing's changing. Of course it's not changing. How can it? You've programmed yourself into weakness. You've built a lifestyle based on survival, not domination. You're reacting instead of creating. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Time is your most ruthless enemy. Every second that passes is a second you'll never get back. And if you're not living with urgency, if you're not acting like your time is limited, then you've already lost. The clock doesn't pause for indecision. It doesn't wait for motivation. It keeps ticking whether you're working or wasting. And most people are wasting. Wasting potential. Wasting energy. Wasting their only shot at greatness. You don't get infinite chances. You don't get to redo your 20s or your 30s or whatever season you're in. And the older you get, the clearer it becomes that regret is one of the most painful things you'll ever carry. Regret for the mornings you slept in. Regret for the days you talked instead of built. Regret for the time you gave away to distractions, to entertainment, to people who drained your focus. You don't realize how precious time is until it's gone, until you look back and wish you had the discipline to do more, to be more. You want to know why most people stay average? It's not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's because they don't respect time. They treat it like it'll always be there. So they hit snooze. They scroll for just 5 minutes. They push their dreams to next month. And slowly, without noticing, they fall into a lifestyle that guarantees failure. A lifestyle where everything is urgent except their goals. Where everyone else's opinions matter more than their own direction. Where time is handed over to distraction like it means nothing. But time is everything. Time is your leverage. Time is your weapon. Every minute you control is a minute you can use to sharpen your body, expand your mind, build your income, your legacy, your future. Every minute you lose is another minute someone else uses to pass you by. There's a war going on, a war for your attention. Social media, entertainment, nonsense, drama. All of it is engineered to steal your time. Because if they can distract you, they can own you. They can keep you soft, weak, dependent. You think you're choosing it, but you're not. You're being fed. Fed convenience, fed lies, fed a lifestyle that keeps you sedated while your potential rots. But if you're serious about winning, if you actually care about building a life worth remembering, then you need to take your time back with violence. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Start treating every hour like it's currency, because it is. Start asking yourself, is this action making me stronger, smarter, richer? Or is it just keeping me distracted? The world doesn't need more people who mean well. It needs people who move with urgency, who wake up with fire, who understand that the clock is ticking and they don't get to waste another second living like everyone else. If you're not chasing your goals like a savage, like it's life or death, then don't expect savage results. Don't expect respect. Don't expect freedom. Because freedom doesn't come from coasting. It comes from sacrifice. It comes from trading distraction for discipline. It comes from dominating time, not dancing with it. So stop acting like you've got forever. You don't. And the sooner you act like it, the sooner everything changes.